I'm going to show you how I do quilt-as-you-go with hexagons. I'm using a 1.5 inch and I'm cutting my fabric out at the 1.5 inch and the batting out at the 1.5 inch. And then I have 2.5 inches for the background fabric. And what you want to do is lay it out, create a little sandwich. And you can go about it several ways. You can pin as you go. You can clip as you go. I don't like either of that. I just hold it. I finger press so that it'll keep its shape. And then you want a tiny little gap, just a little gap, so that when you fold it over, you've got room because of your batting. It's thick. You're going to fold your edge over here. And I just hold it. But if you prefer, you can pin or clip and have it hold it for you. So I just hold it and then I go up, not from the back of the fabric, just the back of the batting, and I come in right at the edge, right at the edge of the folded over fabric. It's kind of hard to tell. I should have used a different color. And you just nip. You just get a teeny bit of the fabric. You don't go all the way through on the back. You get a tiny bit of fabric and you get the very edge here of your backing fabric. And that is what holds it all in place. Keep going all the way. When I get to the corners, I like to have them mitered, and I sew up my corner, and I'll show you as soon as I get there. Some people skip it altogether, but I'm going to make a envelope or maybe a project bag. So I just want to make sure mine is super secure so it doesn't get snagged on anything. So you're just going to go all the way around, just nip the tiniest bit of fabric here and your very edge here. And going all the way around. Now almost to the corner. So I don't go all the way to the corner. I stop just short. What is that? Maybe not quite a quarter or half, yeah, quarter inch. And then do the same thing, fold it, give it a good press, leave just the tiniest amount of space right there and fold it over. And then you've got this little mitered corner. And I like to go up under it here and just grab the littlest bit. I don't know if you can see my needle in there, but just the littlest bit of fabric on each. And then I continue up to the corner here. And then when I get to the top, I just sort of poke it back down there and come out the middle. Again, I'm not going through the back at all. It's just all through the front. And you don't want to pull it really tight. If you do, you'll push your corner in. So you just want to pull it just so that it's completely snug. And then you just keep going. Just take in the littlest bits. So while I do this, I will tell you too that if you want to quilt all of your pieces together, you can come in with a blanket stitch or any kind of decorative stitch, and you will go from the back up to the front and do your decorative stitch all the way around this bit here, and you're going to go all the way through. I'm not going to do that because, again, I think I'm going to make an envelope, and I don't want the things that I put inside to snag on the embroidery floss or thread or yarn, whatever you would use for that. So I'm going to skip it on this one. But because these are only 1.5 inches, they'll be fine. They'll be secure. It won't need to have quilting all the way through all the layers. This is good enough. Now I'm to a corner again, and I'm going to do the finger press, leaving just that little bitty gap. And if your corners don't quite match up, you can fiddle with your fabric there till it matches up where you're happy with it. And then give it the corners just the littlest bit. You just want the tiniest bit of fabric in there, and it holds it nice and secure. Miter this, and then come back through. Again, not going through the back. You're just going underneath this bit, not coming through the back at all. And you continue on, and then you get all these pieces that look like this. And okay, so now you've got all of your individual hexies quilted and you're ready to go. Not quilted, but made. I did add the decorative stitches to mine, but I didn't go all the way through to the back side because I said I was making an envelope or pouch and I didn't want anything to snag. If you do traditional, you would just do a running stitch or the stitch of your choice and go all the way through to the back side. I just made this crude little sample to show you. But I lost all the footage of me finishing this, so I'm doing it again. But in here, this is why I didn't want any of my stitches to show. So that's the finished project of what I started the video with. Now that you have your pieces, you would lay them all out the way you want them to be and put them in your rows and just arrange however many you have, and then you would be stitching them all together like this, and then after that you would stitch them like this. So knot your thread and trim off any tail on your thread that you have because you're going to hide them. It's the same as like when we stitch this. You're just going to go up through the corner here like that, and then pretty sides together. I like to put a knot in every corner. So I'm going to start with my knot. Can't grab the thread, geez. Okay. Got my knot, and do any kind of stitch you want. You can do a hidden stitch, ladder stitch, whip stitch like me. Anything that you want to do is fine here. You want to pull your thread tight as you go. Like, don't pull it like your life depends on it or anything, but give it a good tug. You only need to get just that little bit of fabric from each side too. It's very secure. Now that I'm to this corner, I will put a little knot in here. And then right where you came in, right in this very, very corner edge, you just go through your fabric like that. Pull it, but don't pull it too tight. And then trim this off close to your fabric. And that's how you hide your end. And then we're going to sew these together. And you just keep repeating this process. Trim my tail. And you're going to work from that back side. So fold this over. See that? So it's going to go like this. Clip it or pin it if that helps. I just hold it. Line up your corners. Going to knot it. And then the same as before, same process. Going to give it a nice tug. You're only nipping just the tiniest bit of fabric from each side. knot this corner. And you don't have to knot if you don't want to. I just prefer it. If my bag comes apart in the future, it's just very easy to repair one piece instead of, if it all starts unraveling. So now that you're here, you can just keep going with your thread. You don't have to cut it off each time. So now you're going to fold it this way and match up your corners. Clipping or pinning would help so that you don't get any fabric slippage. So now what I like to do is I like to come in the back of this first one that I did and then come through on the corner here. It just eliminates a tiny little pinhole gap that you can sometimes get. And then I'm going to put in my knot. And then it's just the same process again. Catching a little bit of fabric from each side. And again, you don't have to do the stitch I'm doing. You can do any stitch you want. A lot of people like to do hidden stitches so that you can't see it, but this is the inside of a bag for me, so I don't care. And coming up to this corner, give it a little knot. And you just keep repeating that process. You'll fold this side down and do along here, and then this side down and do along there. And if you're actually making a quilt or something, a lap quilt, it would be much longer. But again, I just made this little envelope pouch. And I'm working on the written instructions and the exact pattern and how to make this, how to fold it up and everything. So that should be up later today or tomorrow at the latest on my website. Happy stitching!